Honestly, sometimes I feel like plotting is really hard, but it's also one of my favorite parts of the process. But this book honestly is such a game changer because I really wanted this story to be kind of like an on-the-run mystery slash like they have to work together, but he's literally a zombie. Are you curious about how I plot my stories? Are you? Well, today is the perfect video for you because I'm going to be taking you guys along a little plot with me, and I'm very excited to be doing so. Honestly, sometimes I feel like plotting is really hard, but it's also one of my favorite parts of the process because you get to see the story come together in its key forms, i.e. its story. So literally, although it's difficult and sometimes a bit of a drag, I do love plotting stories. If you guys don't know Project Ghost Zombie, then you haven't watched my first video kind of in this perhaps mini series where I brainstormed, created Pinterest pages, a playlist for this project, and kind of introduced the story to you guys. So please go watch that video after if you guys want to kind of get more context of this project. And I'm very excited that this video is partnered with Milanote, which is an amazing platform that allows writers to brainstorm and plan their stories. I've been using Milanote for like, I don't know how many years now, but a long time. And two things that I love about Milanote is one, I love how it's so easy to kind of bring all these parts of your project together in one space, one platform, whether that be your character brainstorming, your plot plans, your Pinterest pages, your playlists, all these different parts of media and the brainstorming process, the writing process. It's all in one aesthetic space. And the second thing I love about Milanote is that it's actually free to sign up. You can actually click my link in the description to sign up to Milanote today and use their amazing platform. I've really been hearing so many different comments when I have partnered with Milanote of people really enjoying their platform and using them, especially for brainstorming and plotting their stories. So that's really great to hear. And I thought it would be super fun to start this video off by giving a little tour of my Ghost Zombie brainstorm page and kind of give you guys a recap of this project. Alrighty, so this is what my little brainstorm page looks like. Project Ghost Zombie is kind of like a paranormal romance slash dystopian. It's a bit of a mishmash of stuff. On the top here, I have a zombie and ghost, which is kind of like the brainstorming I have for the different sorts of beings, which are ghosts and zombies in this world. And then down below, I have some plot for the story, which are just some plot ideas. And on the bottom right, I have characters, which include these three different characters. Noah is one of the zombies, Samson is a ghost, and BJ, which I realize in my last video, a lot of y'all commented what that means. Her full name is Betty June, so I think I'm just gonna be calling her either June or Betty for most of the story, or maybe just Betty June, not her nickname. Okay, I learned that the hard way, y'all. Thank you for telling me. But a little tiny weenie synopsis of the story is ghosts and zombies are real, living in between the mortal realm. But as an 18-year-old girl, Betty June, begins to get involved, she finds out this underworld is more alive than it seems. I'll be building on this throughout the video and hopefully getting more of an idea of the plot and story. Now that we're done with the tour, let's go ahead and start plotting my story. If you guys don't know, the first thing I usually do when I start brainstorming is to actually outline a general plot structure of my story, which kind of includes the major plot arcs. And over here, I actually use the templates of Milanote so much. So all I'm gonna do is click more templates and say act structure. As you can see, it says 3 act structure. So I'm gonna click that. This is what it looks like. And I'm gonna say use this template so it all empties out and I'm able to have a beautiful plotting structure. So let's go ahead and brainstorm a little bit of my project and the plot of my story. Alrighty, so for the opening, I think it's really important to understand my character. I really wanted Betty June to be a law student and someone who was moved from home. And I really thought it would be interesting that she actually returns home and she's kind of assaulted with sort of her past as we get into the story. And kind of like, that's the first thing we see is this very different character returning home to a place that has never changed. And and I wanted there to be something there that kind of stumps her, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna write down a little bit of some of those brainstorming points and just see where I go with that. But I'm really thinking about what sort of thing she can be affronted with, like what sort of memories. And I'm thinking about her being a law student and kind of having a sort of different past, and like thinking about like what is the reason why she left? Why did she leave to study somewhere else? Of course, maybe it was just a small town, but maybe there was also an emotional reason why, why she left. Oh my gosh. I'm really bad at grammar, guys. I'm really bad at grammar. However, I got this really good idea just as I was writing those thoughts down about a friend perhaps going missing, and she's still plagued by the idea of her friend never being found, and of whom Betty June is still looking for. Anyways, I'm gonna continue brainstorming and see what comes to light. And again, these are just very loose thoughts, and I'm just gonna be continuing and just seeing how I go. So let's go ahead and do some more plotting. Okay, so that was a really productive, hi guys, by the way. That was a really productive plotting session. I think I plotted for like around 20 minutes. It definitely takes some time, but I feel like I have some ideas flowing, and especially it was so helpful going back to my Pinterest page. And I came across this particular photo that kind of gave me the kind of first introduction of one of the main characters, which is Noah. The character dynamic sort of like this, where this is Noah and this is Betty. And like, I really am excited to see how this character dynamic goes for, because I really wanted this story to be kind of like an on the run mystery slash like they have to work together, but he's literally a zombie. Kind of cool. So then I so this is my brainstorming for now. So Betty June basically goes back to that crime scene, and I really wanted there to be I was like thinking like, how can the introduction of this other character be kind of implicit in like what they are? And if you guys don't remember, but in my last video, I kind of brainstormed how, as you see, this is Noah. He's like a boxer. I think that's really interesting for his personality, because if I look over here, they have regenerative abilities. So that's why he's a boxer, because he can earn money through boxing. And I thought it would be so interesting, at least I haven't really written it down here, maybe I should, because he meets Noah, who is boxing. And I wanted like maybe it's like a warehouse, but it's turned into a night bar slash boxing ring where like delinquents essentially go to and drink and do crazy stuff. So it's kind of like very new, where this like law-abiding law student comes in and sees this mess. So as you see, this is the opening. So when she kind of goes back home, and I also have this in bold because I wanted that to be some sort of underlying brewing kind of conflict, where there's this particular cult who's kind of been involved in the underground, just like as the ghosts and zombies are. This is the conflicting and rising action, where I wanted actually her to meet Noah, and then essentially the conflict and action kind of just goes bam, and they have to be on the run because the ghosts are after the main character Betty for some reason, and Noah needs to protect her. And it's kind of going back to the idea in my brainstorming video where I kind of thought about like, what are the roles of ghosts and what are the roles of zombies? And of course I wanted them to be arch nemesis because that's a really interesting conflict. And I thought that would be so cool, where like zombies are wanting to actually like exorcise ghosts and like essentially like chain them up so they don't torment people, because I'm like, what do ghosts do? They torment people. And I had the idea of like the ghost lord, or the ghost, like the main guy who's kind of like in control, is part of that cult and is actually getting these ghosts, such as Samson, to do things like be a hitman or do things that humans can't do, like for example robbing a bank, like, or like forging a signature, or like going somewhere, or like even just tormenting someone. Like that's something that we can't do as humans, but people pay the ghost lord to get these ghosts, such as Samson, under this guy to do stuff like that. So I wonder, like, what if Samson ends up having to like help, you know, both Betty and Noah to kind of fight back, you know what I mean? Because he's been under that hierarchy. So it's just an interesting, I'm still kind of trying to figure out like why and like how Samson got missing, and like why, and like how it kind of comes about. Just think about all these different things. So I think that's enough for now that we have for the main plotting. I think it'll be interesting to kind of flesh out a little bit more of the opening and the conflict and rising action, including like scene stuff, because that's also what I do to plot my stories. So let's go ahead and go back to my ghost zombie homepage. I'm gonna be creating a new board called scenes. And if you guys don't know, this is one of my best plotting ideas and kind of plotting techniques in order to make actual ideas. Because sometimes I'm like, what actually happens in a story and like what's going on? And although I kind of have been doing a lot of this in my head, I really appreciate it when I actually write it down. And I'm very excited to be showing you guys how to do this. So what I do is I actually make like a little table, drag it here. I'm gonna be opening these a little bit. And my favorite thing is to go on Pinterest. So go back to my Pinterest page and look at all the different settings and how I can create those into scenes. Because as I've been brainstorming and kind of plotting, I have a general idea of how the plot goes, but I don't really know like how that all comes about and kind of how things link together in terms of location, in terms of characters, in terms of aesthetics. So I really wanted to just write some ideas down to help continue facilitate my plotting process, because this really helps as well if you're stuck, as I kind of am since I've gone up to the conflict part. I don't really know what else can happen. And I think what's really important is actually the fun in games. The fun in games, I want my story to kind of be just like them being on the run, but I'm like, what else does that mean? Like where else can they go? Like what can happen if they're on the run, if they're just driving for like the whole night? Like there needs to be stuff that happens where like the ghosts catch up to them, they get stuck, maybe a storm comes. Like these are the ideas that really help me. So I'm gonna go ahead and put down some setting ideas and then come back to brainstorm some scenes from those settings. So let's go ahead and do some more plotting. I'm so excited. This is so fun. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. This is really fun. Okay, let's go get plotting.
Why has it gotta be so complicated? Maybe this love thing's overrated. My feet in the sand, my face in my hands. I know it's my fault cause I never make plans. And now you're telling me you love me, but you don't even know me. I'm trying to hang, but if you fall in it slowly, yeah. Cause I've been thinking lately, if I take my time, try to get it right, I could see you in a different light. If I take my time, try to get it right, I could see you in a different light, girl. Maybe we're too intoxicated, trying to have sober conversation. I'm saying I'm fine, we both know I'm wrong. With you in that dress, girl, there ain't no denying you. But that's the point I'm trying to get to.
Alrighty besties, so I have a list of all these different settings and I literally love the vibe. As you can see over here, I have these different settings such as a nightclub, in a warehouse, as I mentioned, train tracks, old library, rich apartment, the woods, elevator, circus grounds that are abandoned. These are all the vibes that are coming together. And I think I'm getting a sense of like the timeline as well. I feel like this will be, and also the location, I feel like this will be like out back sort of vibes America. Kind of like maybe in the 80s or 90s. I feel like that could be interesting, like a 90s vibe. But what I do now is to actually make a scene. So for example, nightclub in a warehouse, I can just write down, Noah is, you know, fighting a really big guy and seems that he won't win, but eventually does, which will be interesting as like a kind of demonstration of the sort of character Noah is, and like that's the scene. So I have the place and then that's the action where Noah is fighting somebody. Train tracks, for example, and this just like literally helps me generate ideas, like what can happen on the train tracks. Like maybe they find, maybe there's an interesting, because I like to just think about like what, and this is like real time, like what my brain looks like as I'm brainstorming like train tracks. It'll be interesting to see like a ghost seeming like a ghost. Like maybe Sam's, that's like a way stands by train tracks to get Betty convinced that he is a ghost. I feel like this will be like one of the not end scenes, but maybe like in the climax scenes where like she's like, oh my gosh, ghosts and zombies are real. Like not only zombies are real, like I've been trying to come to terms with running away with this, essentially getting kidnapped because she doesn't know what's wrong, but he does. He knows like maybe why they're looking for her. And maybe he just has an obligation as a zombie against ghosts to defend all humans. And I'm just gonna continue brainstorming some thoughts and come back to you with, maybe some things I can add to my general plot, which will be exciting. So let's go ahead, do more brainstorming. Alright, besties, so I have brainstormed quite a here, and I've been thinking about the road trip and kind of them coming across, for example, like a car yard. Maybe their car breaks down, maybe they have to go, they're road tripping down a long highway and stop by like a church which would be so interesting, because another part of Betty's identity is her being Christian, and of course her coming to terms with her kind of road tripping with a ghost and a zombie, which will be such an interesting scene. And I can just imagine, like, as I'm getting the characteristics of these different characters together, like, obviously Samson and Noah don't really like each other, but they have the common interest in protecting Betty. And she's just like, can we stop by the church, please? Like, it's Sunday, I want to go to church. And they kind of look at each other like, it's not safe, but okay, just for you. I feel like that's so sweet. I've gotten ideas about like the apartment, like what they find there, the woods, and kind of like these different sort of beat scenes that will help me eventually brainstorm and plot my story. But I feel like I've done quite a productive session of plotting. The last thing that I'm gonna do is probably gonna set up a bit of a table, another table, like this is my 3-step plotting process, where I first plot out the sort of main arc, then I do sort of the deeper scenes to kind of cultivate more of those thoughts. And then I actually go specifically into the structure of Save the Cat, which includes usually a table of all the different sections. So I'm gonna go ahead and another board. So let's do that right now. So I'm gonna move these over because it's getting real crowded in here. Okay, let's go ahead and make a new board. And I'm gonna call this, say, drawing, because I've actually been drawing a lot of my plotting through Save the Cat. I have the book right here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it. But this book honestly is such a game changer. I really do recommend it. And I do have a full video as well, kind of talking through how to plot your book using this structure. It's just a really good way to kind of get ideas. I don't recommend going too strictly to it, but it just helps me get my beats set down so I have a plot, because I feel like it's difficult to play with your story structure if you don't have something to begin with, if that makes sense. So this story is a lot more fast paced. It definitely gets into the action a lot quicker than a usual story in Save the Cat in terms of the percentages and stuff like that. But this has been really helpful to just kind of get my thoughts on the page. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. I doubt there is a template for Save the Cat. There is a beat sheet. Oh my gosh, are you actually joking right now? There is literally a Save the Cat. Oh my gosh, Milanote saving me once again. This is actually beautiful. Okay, so this is the whole structure. It's a long structure, but it's definitely something that will help. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe fill in some of these parts and get back to y'all. And yeah, just see kind of what I can come up with. Let's go ahead and do some more plotting. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've been doing so much plotting today, so let's go.
You're falling for me. I'll treat you like I never did. For some reason, to hold on. It's so hard to know. So why you say too fast, baby, I'm going too fast. 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 Maybe slow down or rewind.
Okay, besties, I am back. Guys, it looks actually amazing. But I have the opening image, the theme stated, the setup, catalyst, and debate, which is the main part of, the beginning of the story, which I kind of did brainstorm and kind of plot at the start of this video. So I was able to actually think about more specifically, kind of the actions behind, Noah and Betty and like why they're on the run, and kind of more of the world system of the ghosts and the zombies, which I think is so fun. But that is what it looks like at the end. It is actually crazy that I was able to get this plotting page kind of done, this scene page, and also this Save the Cat structure in this video. Again, as I said, plotting is definitely hard, but I think with you guys it was a bit easier because for some reason my brain just flows when I'm able to kind of talk about it with you guys and talk about it out loud. So if you guys ever need to like brainstorm your stories, just do it out loud. It's just the best like way to kind of get your ideas flowing. And just getting scenes, your Pinterest page in your mind, even listening to your playlist just helps so much with the plotting, and not putting too much pressure on yourself and just realizing that the plot is always working, always improving. And even when you get to the end and you have a pretty good plot, it might change while you write your story. So don't get too stressed about it. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please comment down below what you think. And if you'd like more sort of videos for this particular project, I've been thinking of doing a characters video for you guys where I kind of brainstorm more about my characters. And I love how this project, I like work on and off about it, but like my big stuff that I do, such as the brainstorming and the plotting, I want to do with you guys and share my process. So if you guys are enjoying this, I might make this a little sort of playlist, a little bit of a, series on my channel, which might be super cool. And I just want to give a huge thank you again to Milanote as well for sponsoring today's video and for letting me share my story and help just facilitate my own brainstorming process. And thank you so much for doing a beat sheet as a template. That literally saved me like 10 minutes setting it up, so thank you, that's amazing. Again, if you guys want to check out Milanote down below, it's linked in the description. Please go sign up to them today and check them out. But I wish you guys luck with brainstorming your stories and plotting as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey, how's your day? I don't know if I'm interrupting what you say. I've got to know if I've been MIA. I can make it up to you right now. What you say, you should know. I see more love.